And let's just first talk about what the ADL is. Let's just talk about who they are and where they come from. They're called the Anti-Defamation League, which is a bit vague, and a bit strange also. Many groups, they sort of contain the fundamental conceit in their name. The Republican Jewish Coalition, the RJC, is a coalition of Republican Jews. And AIPAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee, is a public affairs committee that is in favor of the U.S.-Israel relationship. It's right there in the name. Anti-Defamation League. They're a league that is against the defamation. Defamation of who? Defamation in general? Of what? Of who? They were created because of the accusations against an American Jew by the name of Leo Frank.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know what the ADL is. I've known about the ADL, and I thought and still think they're just about people being defamed across the board. But I see that he was saying that they're specific organizations that are aimed at protecting Jewish people or influencing America in for the benefit of Israel, which obviously Jewish people live in Israel. So he brought up AIPAC and another organization that in the name, or the Republican Jewish organization, who they say they're Jewish, and then they try to help Jewish interests. Okay, so I'm following that, and then he brought up ADL, and he said the ADL doesn't name the Jews, well, not the Jews, I gotta work on this, guys, but they name Jewish people in the title. So yes, the ADL doesn't name Jewish people. I believe that's because the ADL is about defaming everyone, but let's see where he's taking this. We're not about defaming them, but protecting people who are defamed across the board, like other minorities, whether religious, whether racial, whether economic. I just thought the ADL was about protecting American citizens from defamation.
Who is accused of raping and murdering a little girl in America. And this is a time of many charges like this against Jews, like the Dreyfus affair in France.
Okay, so it's a lot going on. I don't know Leo Franks. I've seen the name. A few people that I follow on X, I've seen them post about it. Okay, so Leo Frank, he's saying is Jewish and he may have abused a minor. Now he's bringing up someone in France who may have done it. But see, I don't know where Nick's going with this, but to me, it's like you can connect anything to Jewish people if you're doing it the way that he's kind of setting it up. He mentioned some Jews and Jewish groups in politics. Then he mentioned the Defamation League. They don't even say they're Jewish, but I guess I'm going to find out from this or looking into it that Jewish people are in control, they say, are in power in the Anti-Defamation League. Now he says someone in America basically is a pedophile. There was a Jewish pedophile named Leo Frank, but then he says there was a Jewish pedophile in another country. I mean, they probably have Jewish pedophiles in not all Jewish people are pedophiles. I'm just saying they may have one or multiple Jewish pedophiles in every country. So I don't know how this is about to tie together, but let me give him a chance, see where he's going.
Leo Frank affair in the United States, where Jews, like blacks and like other minority group.
What I'm saying with this dude, one Jew did something in America. A Jew did something in France. Now the Jews as a whole are doing something. The whole thing been about Jews, and now he go, all right, well, we just gonna talk about the blacks too. That's why I'm on your ass, nigga, because you be bullshitting.
For being accused of things. And those respective communities claimed that this constituted a defamation. The charges again.
Bro, you are literally well, maybe you haven't done it yet, but you're going down a path of setting up like defaming groups, because you started talking about a couple Jews. It sounds like you're about to talk about Jews, and then you said blacks. So it just, I should have let you finish because maybe I stopped this too early. I see that you setting up an example, so let me let this whole thing play out because I just cut you off at the blacks. My bad.
Against Jews or blacks or other marginalized groups constituted a form of defamation. That's what they said. I'm not saying that. That's what they said. That's where the name.
But see, okay, Nick, this is the reason why that happens. How people talk about the Jews is like you're lumping in either every Jew or most Jews or a large portion of Jews when you say the Jews, because if it's only a couple Jews, why are you saying the Jews? If it's only a couple blacks or a small amount of blacks, why are you saying the blacks? I think, just as I said earlier in this reaction, the thing is, people are trying to prevent large groups of people from being stereotyped and treated unfairly, whether like in cultural ways or even legal ways, right? They're just trying to protect that bias so that everybody has a fair opportunity in work, school, play, etc. They're trying to make sure that we don't get to the point where you see a black person, you think this, or you see a Jew and you think this. So, I mean, I agree with what the ADL, I'm not gonna say I agree with the ADL, but I agree with what the ADL says they were formed to do, and you're saying what they were formed to do, and I agree with them being formed to do that.
Name comes from. They said Leo Frank was defamed as a killer, pedophile, rapist because he was Jewish. That was a defamation of Jews as a group because they're marginal. And this,
man, this stuff gets tricky. Him being a pedophile is a problem. He should go to jail or should have went to jail. Any connection to him being Jewish, I think the ADL should have been, I'm not going to say, since it hadn't been formed yet, this is why it's formed, but let's say it was already formed. The ADL should step in situations like that, because just because a Jewish person does something doesn't mean that all Jews should be tied to it. So yes, I would say that if a Jewish person did something and people tried to tie the religion to his pedophilia, that's a problem. You shouldn't tie an individual's pedophilia to a religion, a race, a gender, or anything else.
Same way that blacks are defamed, and the same way that other ethnic, racial, religious minorities were attacked on the basis of their minority status, they're being defamed as criminals, rapists, murderers, whatever. Of course, Leo Frank was most likely guilty, but that is where the name comes from. So the Anti-Defamation League is born, and it is a subsidiary of the B'nai B'rith, which is an international Jewish society. It's a Jewish group. But Jewish is not in the name. It is a Jewish group. And if you read their mission statement, it says that they're dedicated specifically to fighting anti-Semitism, building up the Jewish community, and defending Israel.
Okay, we agree here. So there are things that the ADL does in terms of Israel. I didn't know about the B'nai aspect, but there are things that ADL does in respect to Israel that me as an American citizen, I feel as though America can have any allies they want. And I have no problem with Israel being our strongest ally if it's in the benefit of America. But I do see, I'm not saying he didn't just say this, but just me following some of the recent history, whether the Gaza war or other things, there is a connection of America. We call Israel our greatest ally. And there are times where it seems to me that America, I don't want to go as far as to say they put Israel interests in front of America, but you definitely could see it's like, just because Israel is involved, America doesn't need to be involved. If Israel has an enemy, it doesn't have to be America's enemy. If Israel needs something, America shouldn't be the only people to have to help. There is I'll say a weird connection between Israel and America where Israel is a sovereign nation, just like Britain, for example. I feel like America has not gone to war with Britain other than the initial American Revolution, right? World War I and II, I believe we were on the side of Britain. We have a relationship with Britain. Britain is a strong ally of ours, but we don't make our foreign policy based upon Britain or any other country in the European Union. So I would say that Israel, based upon Western values, because Israel has Western values. I mean, the Gazans would be tougher on the Israelis than the Israelis would be on the Gazans in terms of like laws and things of that nature. So I see how Israel has some similar values. They have capitalism. They have a democracy. Everybody's voting. They may do that in Hamas, Gaza, but a lot of these Islamic extremist places, I don't trust it. It's kind of like Russia. You're voting Russia, but I don't know if you really, really get a vote. But yeah, with Israel, there's a lot of Western and democratic value. So I do see why they would be an ally. But the whole greatest ally thing, I think there's something nefarious with that. We might need to relook at that. Or look into it more.
And they're explicitly born of the international Jewish community, part and parcel of the Jewish community. They're considered a Jewish group and a constituent member of the organization of major American groups. Okay? That's what the ADL is.
After seeing this clip, I want to dig into the ADL more. I did know they had some Jews involved because I've commented on the ADL before. I didn't know it was a Jewish-run organization necessarily. I guess I knew, but didn't think about it because I guess a lot of times things happen with them. I do notice a Jewish slant, but like I say, they've covered other groups, so that's why I thought it wasn't just Jewish. But Nick is providing a lot of information that I didn't know as he's done a couple other episodes. So I guess I should look into like these. The Democrats may have it too. There was the Republican Jewish organization. There may be a Democratic Jewish organization. He said the Benign Group. He also brought up the ADL and then brought up AIPAC. So I'm going to dig into these Jewish organizations more just because I like to be informed. So I'm giving you guys my opinion on at this moment based upon what I know. But as I learn more, I may change, I may change my stance on a lot of these issues. Now, I'm about to go to comments, but before I even go to comments, I noticed that the video with Nick, where he said, "Dear Black people," and I responded. Later, I responded with facts. I can't remember if I responded with facts that video. But I seen a lot of people commenting, and I just wanted to say that the things you guys are saying, I'm trying to take out time to look into, and I'm open to like learning more about those topics because some of you had details in your responses to me. So I want to look into it and just find out the validity of what you're saying, and it may help me change or keep my stance on what I think about Israel and the Jewish people as a whole. If you like this video, please smash the like button, comment, and subscribe. New shows airing Monday through Thursday.